Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tiana with Storey House Books as usual. Okay, what are we doing? Alright, we are on episode 18. Before we get started, I got a couple shout outs to give. A couple of y'all have been on my shout out list almost every time. But so I'm going to give a couple shout outs to Penny, Joanne. Penny, by the way, I did see your comment on the Let's Make Stuff Friday video. I'm so sorry about the distraction. I didn't even notice it. But apparently there is some background noise from my daughter watching Discovery Channel. And again, I'm really sorry about the distraction. So tonight we're filming. She's at work. Nobody's here. TV's off. So should be no distractions this time. Again, sorry about that. Hey, Joanne, Suzanne, Jess, Judy, and Julie. Love you guys. Thanks for your comments. I really appreciate it. So let's get started. What are we doing? Again, this is episode 18. And we are going to be working, again, obviously, this is the Saturday series. And the Saturday series we're currently working on is the Create a Lapbook with Me 2.0. If you are new to the series, then again, this is episode 18. So you guys can catch it up to do if you're new. We've been working on panel number 3, which is this one here. We finished 1 and 2 and 4, right? And last time we were together, we were finishing up this bottom center panel with all the seed pockets and whatnot. We did some distressed envelopes here with some Tim Holtz craft stock. And we worked on this 8-pocket wonder here. These two file folders that have little flaps and magnetic closures. Worked on those, right? We also worked on hand cutting our own file folders. Now, you notice these are different than the last time we met. I went ahead and decoupaged and did some stitching. This is the end result of what I want to show you how to do today. Okay, so we're going to do some decoupaging here. I'm going to show you how to do that. Over here, we're going to work on this panel as well. So what I found in my die cut stash is a die that looks like this. Let me bring it out for you. So there's a couple of dies that we're going to be working on today. So this one here, if you guys can see that, I got this from Temu a couple of years ago. And I forgot that I had it until recently, and I found it when I was trying to organize my die cuts. But what it gives you is this, pull these out, this accordion pocket here. Not with the window, I cut that out separately. But it gives you a little accordion pocket here, and it sits just like this. And the cool thing is it's perfect for specimen slides. 1, maybe even 2, because it's got the accordion flaps, right? So we could probably fit 2 inside here. Yeah. At least 1 or whatever. And then they fit perfectly on this flap, on this flip out here, side by side, right? With this one, and here's another one. 2 of them side by side. And we can put 6, at least 6, right? 6. Yeah, 6, or 3 down and 2 over. So 6 total we'll put on this page, okay? I was wondering if we could put more if I did them this way. I don't think so. Because I could kind of stack them up a little bit, maybe. I wonder. I wonder if that would carry too much bulk on this page with that and with these. I think it might. So let's just go ahead with my original idea. We'll do 6 on this page, right? Because we could potentially put 12 slides in these 6 pockets. Anyway, so this is the die for that. I am going to do some die cutting with that. With this today. I'm also going to show you how to make this by hand without the die. We're also going to be die cutting some specimen slides. Now this is the Tim Holtz specimen slide die. This one right here. Okay. I'm also going to show you how to do this by hand without the die. Right? So that's what we're going to be working on today. So we have these guys to decoupage. I'm going to show you how to make these 2 guys with die cuts and from scratch. And that should bring us to a decent stopping point there today. It's a lot, I believe, to work on. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We are going to do the decoupaging first, and I'm going to show you how I did these. These are done with the Tim Holtz collage paper, the Botanical series. It's the one that they used to come in the rolls, right? And I'm going to show you how to do it with napkin as well. If you don't have the collage paper, if you have some napkins, I can show you how to do it with that as well. No big whoop, right? So let's put that put the book to the side for now. And I'm going to show you how to do the decoupaging on some pre-cut file folders that we're not going to be using here. Now, all right, so we got 2 file folders here, right? Again, these were cut with the Tim Holtz dies, but we've already cut ours by hand in the previous video. So, all right, so one of these I'm going to show you how to do with collage paper. The other one I'm going to show you how to do it with napkin. Now, with napkins, normally there's layers to them, right? So you're going to want to peel the layers off until you get to the base design piece, okay? What supplies are you going to need? Well, you'll need your collage paper or your napkin, or even if you use tissue paper, like what you use to put in gift bags or wrap gifts with, anything like that type of material will work, okay, for this. Obviously, you'll need your element that you're going to use. I use glue stick to keep mine down. I haven't found another way to do it. I think you can use Mod Podge as well. If you brush it on really lightly, you can use that as well, would work. But I like the glue stick, and I use Scotch Permanent Glue Stick by 3M. Okay, this should be in my list of most used tools in the description below. Okay, now let me grab something to glue on. I don't want to get glue all over my mat here. So let's start with the napkin. All right, and it's basically the same process, just as the collage paper, just 2 different materials. Other things you're going to want, or will be helpful, is a pair of scissors to trim off the edges. Trim off the edges, or I'm going to show you how to use a sanding disc, or if you have some fine sandpaper, or even a nail file or an emery board would work. I'm going to show you how to do this. This is what I prefer to use, but you can always just do it with scissors if you don't have any of those items. Again, I like to show you guys, give you options in case you don't have the tool. There's other ways you can do it, so you don't have to, feel pressured to buy more stuff, right? That's what we want. Anywho, so I've already peeled off the layers here, and this is down to the base design of this napkin, right? And see, it's really thin, so all you have to do, and we're going to do this front part just like we did on the ones that are actually in Lapbook. So take your glue stick, and you're going to want to cover the entire surface of the area that you are going to be attaching your napkin or decoupaging. Make sure you get as much of the surface area as possible, especially the edges and your corners, okay? That's where it's most likely going to come up. Now, after you've put your glue on, just pick whatever part of the napkin you want to use, and I want to use this corner here. I'm just going to rip off a piece of that, and then just let it drop naturally down. Kind of let it float down on to the file folder here, just like that. Press it down. Press it out. If you get a few wrinkles, don't worry about it. This adds to this distressed look. What I also use, just so, as I'm smoothing it out so I don't tear, because it is very thin and it's very delicate, is a thick paintbrush. Is very useful in this case. To just kind of push out the tissue paper all the way to the edges without tearing it, and be able to apply a little bit of pressure, yeah? Okay. Now, once that's on there, you can set it aside to dry just a little bit. I didn't put that much glue on it, so it feels pretty dry already. Take your sanding disc or your emery board or your nail file or your sandpaper, okay? Or you can just take your scissors and trim off the excess, like so. Just be very careful not to cut your base element here, all right? You can also use water to just soften it and just kind of rub your fingers over with a wet finger around the edges and just let it fall off naturally. I like to use the sandpaper or the sanding disc because it kind of smooths out the rough edges of the tissue paper, and it kind of blends it into the base material, right? It gets really smooth. I saw this first from Sunset Crafts, where she was doing it this way, because normally I would cut it off or use a little bit of water to soften it and just rip it off, but I like this much better. But please use whatever works for you. This is just what I recommend, and this is the way I do it. So you just take your sanding disc or your sandpaper or your emery board and just run it down the edge here, and it will just pull off like that. See how nice and smooth that is? It just blends right into the paper. Yeah? And just keep doing that all the way around. And just pull it off lightly. Keep on going all the way around. Is my light blinking? I think it is. Hang on one second. I'm gonna fix this light. It's like, it feels like it's strobing on me. Okay, I think that's okay now. All right, let's just keep going here. Let that come off of there. And there we go. Now, if there's any rough edges, I just kind of rub my sandpaper over that. Get off any excess paper that's still clinging to there. Yeah, I think we're good. A little spot right there. And it looks like we're pretty good. So that's the end result right there. And then I would take my my tool, whether it's a bone folder or a scoring tool, back of your scissors, and just give that a nice burnish real quick again on the fold there. And there is the finished piece, right? That's with the napkin. Easy peasy, right? That took us, what, 5 minutes? Not even. Same process if you're going to use collage paper. It's the exact same process. It's just a different material. Just as thin. Let's see what I got here. I got any scrap on here? Oh, I do have some scrap in here. Does that fit? Ooh, it just fits. Let's use the scrap here so we don't have to tear off anymore. Put this back in here. All right, again, this is basically rinse and repeat, okay? We're just going to take our glue stick, just like we did before, cover the area that we want to cover completely with the glue stick, the entire area, the entire surface, especially the edges and the corners, right? Take our collage paper, just like with the napkin, and let it fall naturally on there. I'm going to lift this up a little bit because it's kind of hard for me to see the middle fold there. Ooh, and I got a big goober right there. Look at that. That's no bueno. Do I have any more of that? I do. Be careful with that. Let me move this to the side so I don't glue things down to it. Alright, let's just fold this down here. And then let's drop this on here. Hopefully I get it. Alright. Not crooked. And just smooth that out. And I'll take my paintbrush here and smooth it out a little more. Okay, that ought to do. All right, then just like we did before, it also helps if you kind of fold it around the edges when you're about to remove it. A little bit easier to see, kind of scores it a little bit, you know what I mean? All right. Now, we can just go ahead and do the same exact thing to either cut off the edges or take your sanding tool and just run it along the edge and let it pull off like that. And just go all the way around. Just like with the tissue paper. Or the napkin, rather. Go. This is still a little bit wet. It's ideal that it's completely dry when you're trimming the edges. But it still works. I'm just doing this for the sake of time. But easy process, nothing too complicated. Nothing too intimidating, I hope, for you. Let me get this little funky corner here. There we go. Okay, and let me get down here at the bottom. Just a little bitty flap, but there's not really much to it. I think I got it right up on the edge with the collage paper. There we go. Just a little bit to come off. Then I'm just going to run it down the edge here real quick, just kind of blend the collage paper into the base material here, in this case the file folder. And then there we go. All done. Now to be like to look like the other ones that we're using in the Lapbook, you go ahead and you would ink it, right? And then do some sewing on this front flap, okay? And then the end result would be what I showed you in the beginning of the video. Here's our end result after inking and doing some stitching. Yes? What do you think? I like it. Okay? Alright, so that's the first thing I wanted to show you tonight. Second thing is deciding on how we are going to, or what we're going to make these file folders. Are they going to be tucks or pockets? And I think they're going to be pockets so I can put more stuff in. Now, if they're going to be pockets, I need to decide how I want to close these. Do I want to just glue them down the sides? Which I'd rather not, because you don't get as much room. They tend to be a little tight, and you run the risk of them ripping, right? We could put gussets in here. We've done that before, you know, and that gives you a little bit of room. Or we can do what I call these little buckle gussets, where they kind of wrap around the front to the back, these little strips, and gives you room just like the gussets would, but it's just a different look. And what do I mean by different look? Well, I cut the pieces here of the two types of those two types. One with gussets that are on the inside, and one with the buckle gussets. Now the inside gussets are like normal. You would get a strip here, measure it for the side, put it inside, fold it in half. Usually you want it about at least an inch wide, so you can have like 2 half-inch little flaps here. Set it inside of the file folder, you know, cut it to size, and then that would be the gusset, so you wouldn't see that. It would look just like it is now. Or you cut some strips like this. These are half-inch strips. That doesn't matter how long they are, as long as, you know, however long you want it to look in the front, right? So we have that, and where's another? There we go. So we would wrap it around, like put about an inch in the front, wrap it around to the back, right? Leaving a little bit of room here on the ends, like so it can grow, right? And then attach this with a brad, and then I normally would hot glue it to the back, and I would put 2 of these on here, like so. So they're kind of like, you know, gussets on the outside. I call them buckles because they kind of remind me of a belt, right? And then we could put them even to each other, like so, like this, or kind of like I like to do them like this, a little offset. So that's the 2 looks that we need to decide, and I'm going to actually make this a poll. So this is Saturday's video, Saturday series video. So by next Saturday, when we'll decide after the poll what you guys think. Should we do these little buckle-like strap gussets that are on the outside, right? Or should we do our standard inside gusset that goes on the inside here that you don't see? Okay, I want you guys to help me decide. So tell me what you think in the comments. Which kind of closure we should do. Let me put these in this envelope so I don't lose them. I've already cut the pieces. And we will make the decision from the poll, and we will finish these file folders up next Saturday. Okay? And we'll attach them then. They're ready to go. We just need to decide how to close them. I'm going to just clip those right here. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's do the accordion pocket next. Okay, we're going to make it from scratch, and then we'll die cut a few. Then we'll make the slide from scratch, die cut a few of those, and then that should bring us to the end there, I think, for the night. Nope. I think we're going to pick the type of acetate that we're going to put here, because I have some options for that also. Whether it's regular acetate that's clear, I have some alcohol inked acetate to kind of look a little bit worn and vintage. And then I also have some photo strips from Seven Plaza. Same kind of distress look, but it's got the, the film strip borders on it that we could use as well. So I want you guys to, we're going to decide that as well tonight. Okay? But let's go ahead and start cutting or making things from scratch, because that could take us a minute to do. All right, let's start with the accordion pocket here. Now, this is the shape of it if you use the die cut. Okay? Well, we're going to do it from scratch. So what I want you to do is just grab some cardstock, whatever you want to use. I'm just grabbing, you know, this random solid color here. Okay? And the measurements for this, excuse me, one piece here, got your paper cutter, is 5 by 2.5. Okay? So, we're going to do 5 inches this way. Actually, we're going to do it this way to get more out of it, out of the sheet of paper. 5 inches this way, you know, long ways, or horizontal. Okay. And then 2.5 inches in the other direction. So there's my 2 is there, so that's 2.5 right here. Yeah? Excuse me. Is that 2.5? Yeah, 2.5. And I'm going to cut 2 of these, just so I'm going to show you twice how to do these. And that should be, I would think, should be sufficient. Right? Alright. Here we go. So next I want you to grab your scoreboard. Okay? And we're going to make some score marks. Alright, let's grab my scoring tool if I can find it. Here it is. Alright, take your piece here with the long one up, with the long end at the top here. We're going to score from the left at 1/4 inch, then at 3/4 of an inch, and then at 1 1/4. Okay, so using my pen just so you can see the score marks a little bit easier. Here is the 1/4 inch, 1/4. Here is 3/4, and here is 1 1/4. Okay, so it's 1/4 inch, 3/4, 1 1/4. We're going to do that same scoring on this side. So the easiest way to do that is flip it around, like so, and do the same thing. 1/4 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/4 inch. And again with my pen, just so you can see it a little better. There's our 1/4 inch, there's our 3/4 of an inch, and then 1 1/4 inch. And that's going to leave you about, about 2.5 in between here and here. Okay? Now, then you want to decide which is going to be your top and the bottom of the pocket. This is up. This is going to be my top, and this will be the bottom. So you line up the bottom over here on this side, and you're going to score there at 1/4 of an inch. Okay? So with my pen, so you guys can see it again. Your score marks will look something like this. Okay? You guys make sure you guys can see these. Alright? 1/4, 3/4, 1 1/4. Same thing going this way, and then 1/4 inch down here at the bottom. Alright? You put your scoreboard away for now. Excuse me. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold at our score marks. Okay? So, let's start with the bottom here. Do the bottom flap. Give that a nice crease. Okay, open that up. Then we'll do these accordion sides. Now what I want you to do is take the front or of your pocket or the paper, put that face down. Alright, so the first score mark, we're going to flip it up. Okay. Then we're going to flip this over, facing up. The next score mark, we're going to flip it up. Again. Okay. Then I want you to put it face down again, like so. And then the next score mark, flip it up again. So what you get is like this little guy right here. Okay, this little zigzag. Right? So we're just going to do the same over here. Put your paper face down. First score mark, flip it up. Flip the whole pocket over. Next score mark, flip up again. Crease. Flip it back down. and then the next score mark, flip up again. And that'll give you your accordion folds on either side. Yes? Okay, see that? Beep, 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 beep. All right, now, the next part that we're going to replicate, so we've done this here, right? We've got this flap down here. We need to do the mitering here. Now, I wasn't smart enough to figure out how they did the arc here and these angular cuts or the angular scoring. So this will be the exact same. I just don't have to use a protractor and an abacus and Masonic tools to figure this out to make this exact shape. But what we're doing, you're going to the end result will be the same. So we're here, right? And we've replicated what this is going on here. Now we need to do the mitering, which is going to get rid of this bulk around the tops of these flaps, right? So what I want you to do is close it all up. Make sure you got your nice, good creasing here. Then you're going to open it up like this. So you see just these score marks here. These and these and this. Take your scissors, okay? Now while you're holding this flap closed, all these flaps closed, we're going to go, stand up a little bit closer to the camera so you can see what I'm doing. You see where these score marks intersect here and here? We're going to cut at an angle from the bottom flap to that intersection, right? And then while you're holding all this together, you're going to go from that intersection and again at an angle and cut out. Okay? Like that. It should look like this. This is what it looked like before. Over here, we're cutting it to this. Okay? Do the same thing on the other side, right? So from the bottom flap, you're going to cut at an angle to this intersection right here. Yes? At an angle. And then you're going to go holding the flaps together out of that intersection, cut it at an angle again. Yes? It looks like this. You open it up, looks like this. Open it all the way. Yeah, see that? Everybody got it? That gets rid of that bulk right here. Okay, it'll lay nice and flat. See that? How nice and flat this is now? Okay, so there's that. I'm going to cut this a little bit. It's kind of bended right there. So I'm going to make that a little straighter. Okay, now to cut the bulk from up here to imitate what's going on over here, two things. Kind of the same process as what's going on down here, but we also have to do this little lip here. So this has got a little bit of a gap between the flap and the entrance of the pocket. We can imitate that, or mimic that, or copy that this way. So what I want you to do again is holding the flaps closed, open it up once so you can see the first score mark here. Yeah? And you're going to cut at an angle from the outer edge of this flap to that score mark. You guys see what I'm saying? You see the score mark here? Right there, that score mark? You're going to cut it at an angle like so. Alright, like this. Alright, see what I'm doing? Do the same thing on this side. We've opened it once, holding the flaps closed. We're going to cut at an angle up to this score mark. You see? So again, at an angle, about a 45-degree angle should do. Up to the score mark, but not past it. Yes? Like that. Alright, so you have this little number now looking like this. This is our entrance, so to imitate and get this extra lip here that this pocket has, this thing right here between here and here, we are going to cut one more time from here, from this point right here, straight to the score mark. Man, you don't have to do this. If you don't want that little extra lip there, don't do this. You don't have to do this. This isn't required. Still trying to, mimic the exact pocket. So from here, at this point here, we're going to cut straight across to that score mark, not past it, but up to it. Then cut down the score mark like that. And that'll give you that little extra lip right there. And do the same thing on the other side. From this little point right here, we're going to cut straight across to the score mark, but not past it, just up to it. Then cut down that score mark. And there you go. There's your lip. Okay? And to take that further, we're going to round the corners. So just cut off that little corner, like so. So I have to bring it closer to my face. I can't see because the camera's in the way. Okay. Let's kind of good. It's not really good, but here we go. That's a little better. Okay, and then do the same thing on the other side. Just start at one point and then just take it around like that. Okay, now we have our rounded corners. And if you look, same thing over here. Okay, got the same pocket. Last bit we're going to do is I'm going to take this is a 1.5 inch circle punch. So take it from the top, entrance here, line it up in the middle as much as we can, or center it as best you can. And then punch your hole. Yeah, I think right about there ought to work. And there is our accordion pocket. Put all the pockets down, and it looks just like, in my opinion, just like the die cut. Same thing. Yeah? So here we go. Same thing. Yeah? Okay. Now, let's just throw some acetate in there. Let's just do some clear acetate for the purpose of this demo. And I think I got some right here somewhere. Here we go. Now, I'll just lay the acetate over the pocket and then cut to size. Cut it to fit. Yeah? Use my longer scissors. It's easier. And I'm just going to cut the square out here. And then I'll cut it down. Let's see here. Do I need to cut it down? No, I don't actually. It's perfect, I think. I might just cut a little sliver off this top part here. Just the tiniest sliver. I think that ought to work. Let's put it inside, into the bottom pot here. And that's good. Yes. Okay, so at this point, if you're going to do some inking, I would do it now. Ink the inside here, ink around the outside. And then put your glue, open this up a little bit. And I put my glue around the edges of the window, but not too close to it, because you don't want the glue to come smooshing out, right? Or seeping out. And then I'll put it on the edges of my acetate piece. Just a thin bead, you don't need much. I'm using art glitter glue, if you're wondering. And just place this down as close as you can to that bottom flap as you can. Try not to let it squish out. We got a little bit right there. I'm going to rub that off real quick before it makes a mess. Let me grab some tissue here. Get that off. And then when you press the glue, press it away from the window. And then there we go. I'm going to give everything a nice creasing one more time here. And there you go. All done. We're done. There it is. Okay. All right. Great. Now that I've shown you how to do it by hand, right? We'll do one with the machine, with the die cut machine real quick. And if I can find this, I ordered this so long ago, this die so long ago, I'm pretty sure I got it off Temu. I'll see if I can find it, and if I can, I'll put the link in the description below. So this is what it looks like. Kind of like a TV with two fans on it, I guess you could say. And, alright, let me grab my Big Shot here. I have a Big Shot fold away. And all you're going to need is your paper, some washi tape, and the die. Yeah? So I'm going to just grab a scrap piece of paper here. Open this up. I definitely need to buy new cutting mats. These things have had it, I think. They are about done. Alright, you're going to place your paper on here. I use the washi tape to keep the die still while it's running through the machine here. So I just grab a little piece. Place it with the cutting side down. Yeah? Actually, I'll hold this. And then I'm just going to tape it down. Yeah? Keep it from moving. Put my second plate on top. And then just let it run through. Hopefully it'll grab. There we go. There we go. Just remove the plates. Remove the die. Careful not to tear the paper when you move it. Pull off the washi tape. Throw that away. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There it is. And then you see the perforations here on the fold there. That's where you fold. Right there. Those are the score marks. Yeah? Okay. That's how you die cut it. Easy peasy. Right? Alright, let's put this to the side so we do the specimen slide. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, once you have cut it, and like I said, these are the score marks, these little perforations here. I'll get it to focus here. There we go. These little perforations are the score marks. It's basically the same thing we did with the other piece. Put it face down, or however you want to do it, and just fold the score marks. You want to put the outside flap in. That's what's going to attach to the paper. Okay? So, cheesecloth. And then flip it over at the next score mark, flip it back at the next score mark. Okay, same thing on the other side. Flip it in because you want this part to attach to the paper. Flip it over and then flip it back. Yeah? Then you have your bottom piece here, your bottom flap right there. That a nice good crease as well. And what you got is basically the same thing. Let's go ahead and punch a hole in this one as well. From the entrance, just center it up, center it as best you can. And is that it? That's it. Punch the hole. And you've got the same exact thing as this. Look at that. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah? Alright. So, those are the accordion slides. Yeah? Say these circles. They're fun to use on and make little dangles out of, by the way. Let's do these specimen slides. Okay, we're going to cut those by hand. I've shown you guys this before, but I'm going to show you again for those of you who have missed it. So we're going to hand cut and duplicate this guy. This is cut using a Tim Holtz die. I don't have it right in front of me. I have to find the actual die set number. But it looks like this. Oh, it says on the back. Sizzix 665930B. Looks like this, right? And produces this here. Okay? I'll show you that in a second. So, what you're going to need is a strip of paper that is 2 1/4 by, I'm sorry, 1 second. I always forget. I'm sorry. It's 2 1/8. Okay? So, it's going to be 2 1/8 this way, and then 4 1/4 long ways. Okay? I've already pre-cut this one. And I made this one actually. Oh, I didn't pre-cut this one. I thought I did. Okay, so that's going to be 2 1/8. We need to cut that too. I'm going to bring up my mini trimmer to do that. So 2 1/8 would put us right here. Okay. Is that right? It looks a little thin. Oh, that's dead on. Is that right? Yeah. And then 4 1/4 the other long ways, right? Because we're going to be folding it in half, so you just take 2 1/4 times 2. So 4 1/2. Where's my 4? That's 4 1/2. Looks like it's right there. So 4 1/2 would be here. Okay. Now, for ease of folding, you can just fold it in half, or you can use your scoreboard rather, and score halfway. I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay, like so. And give it a nice creasing with my tool. And there's where we start. Okay. Now you can go ahead and you can round the corners if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to my corner rounder and use the 4mm setting, and just hit all 4 corners with it folded. Okay? Now here comes the hardest part of the whole thing, is this, the window, right? So looking at this, from the edge to here, to here, to here, measures 1/4 inch. From here to here, the bottom part of that window is 1/2 inch. We're just going to make those measurements on here and cut it out, okay? So just grab a pencil. Now you can either use your craft mat or use a ruler. I'm going to use my craft mat. All right, and with the fold, with this fold at the bottom here, I'm going to measure to the 1/4 inch mark here. Line up the edge with that. And then just make a little tick mark right here and right here. I'll do the same for the top as well. Line it up. Or use your ruler, whichever works best for you. Either or. And do the same thing. Make a little tick mark here. And a little tick mark right here. Flip it around and do it again. Right there and right here. And then on the bottom part, up from the fold here, okay, we're going to measure 1/2 inch. So put the fold up to the 1/2 inch mark, or use your ruler, either or, and just mark that. And then I'm going to take my ruler real quick. Let me just grab a ruler, doesn't matter which one. And just connect my lines, yes? Hope everybody's having a good weekend. And I'm sorry for the lateness of the video. I had my day job stuff I needed to catch up on today before midnight. And if I'm honest and transparent, I've filmed this. This is the second time I've filmed this. When I went back to edit or watch, you know, for edits, the first time I did this, I was all over the place. I was jumping from this element to that element. There was, I was like watching it going, what am I, am I high? What is the matter with me? I was jumping all over the place. Like I'd taken, drinking too much dang coffee or whatever. So I decided to stop it, deleted it, and start over. So wrote down myself a little outline to follow so I'm not, all over the place, right? Let's see here. Why does this not look right? Because that's more than 1/2 inch, isn't it? It is more than 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm so sorry. We are going to do, let's see, those are 1/4 inches. That was right. But this part from here to here, I guess looks like it's a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but it looks like, let's look at this as far as eighths. Let's do that. It is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's more than 1/2 inch. It was actually 5/8, which is an eighth more. So I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm going to erase this line here and then redo it at 5/8. This time I'm going to use my ruler. All right, where's my metal ruler? Here we go. So from the fold, the bottom fold here, right here, from here we're going to measure 5/8 up. Yes. 5/8 would put it, here we go, let's just line this up. 5/8 would put it at, where's the half? So 5/8 would be here. Okay. Let's do 5/8 from on the other side as well. So we'll put it at 5/8 right there. And here. Alright, that looks a little better. Let's just make our straight line across, yeah? I'm getting tired. I need to clean my glasses, one of the two. I'm starting to get a little, I'm having trouble seeing a little bit here. Okay, I think that looks about right. That looks much better. Okay, that looks better. Matches a lot better with this one. Yeah? Okay. I think we might have a little bit of a crooked line here, so let me straighten this up a smidge. That still looks crooked, y'all. So trying to make a straight line, apparently I cannot do it. I am having some trouble making straight lines, apparently today. That's better. Okay, there we go. Excuse me, you guys. Now that's a little finicky, but, you know, at least now you know how to do it, right? And that one looks a little bit woggy also. I'm so sorry, you guys, I'm not making straight lines. But minus the straight lines, the measurements are right now. So we've got 1/4 of an inch on the 3 sides, and then 5/8 of an inch at the bottom, right? And that'll give us a rectangle window. Now, all you have to do is take your craft knife. Now, open it up before you do any cutting, right? And either use your ruler to cut with, or like I do, I just cut without it. It's easier for me. Okay. And just carefully cut that out. There we go. Last piece here. Alright. And just carefully pop that out. Go back over it if you need to hit some more spots, which I apparently do. I didn't get all the way to the corners. So it looks like I got right here to snip right there. I get it? Not quite. That got it. Right over here, what do we got? A little bit right there. That get it? That got it. And what about here? So a little smidge. I think I can pull it out. Okay. Put that piece to the side. Now, so you can either erase your pencil marks, or I just flip it the other direction and hide them on the inside. All right, so there's our slide. That's what we got so far. Now, what's the next part we need to mimic? Is this here. These little notches, if you'd like. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. We're going to do that last. Why? Because I want to put the acetate on the inside first. Because it's easier to put the acetate in first versus doing the notches, then putting the acetate, and then noticing you got acetate sticking out of this notch, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to cut it out. So, just like we did with the accordion pockets here, I'm going to cut a piece out to fit. And then I'll trim it down if I need to. Just cut off a little piece like that. And let's see if it fits inside here. Alright, close but not quite. So let's cut this down. I'll line it up with the bottom fold here. Then I want to cut all off of here. That ought to work. Okay. I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom because it's sticking out of the top there. Let's see. Still a little crooked. So just keep trimming it until you got it straight, yeah? So it fits your slide. And you can always use a paper trimmer, which is probably faster than doing this by hand like I'm doing. But I'm stubborn like that. Yeah. Alright, let's see if this fits now. It should. Yeah, there we're good. Okay. Now, I'm just going, if you're going to ink, I would do it now. Let's ink the insides real quick. And you don't have to ink. Everybody knows it's always optional, personal preference. I know plenty of artists who don't ink at all. So, up to you. Up to you. And as Mr. Tim Holtz would say, you do you. Do what you want to do. Whatever works for you and what you like. Yeah? Alright, and we'll ink the rest after we cut these notches out. Now, take your acetate. Ooh. I'm just going to slide across the table. Put a thin bead all the way around the edges here. You don't want to put too much because you don't... Ooh, like that. Goodness gracious. You don't want it to come seeping out into the window because it's kind of hard to remove once it does that. Just be very careful here. Just a thin bead is all you need. Alright, I like to line mine up in the back. Drop it down. And then close the slide. Yeah? Like so. Alright, make sure it fits. Got a little too far over to the left here. Sticking out the side. Alright, then you just smash it down. Yeah? Open it up. And as you're pressing down, press the glue away from the window opening. Yeah? Less risk of it seeping out into that windowed area, that visual area, right? There you go. There's the most of the slide. The last part is to replicate the notches at the front or the top. Now, I normally would do my notches at the top and at the bottom. I like them in both places, but you don't have to do that. All you really need is a simple hole punch. Yeah? And then just line it up here. Let me stand up so I get a little closer to you guys. Just line it up, right? I like to line it up with the edge of the window and just do a little nip out. Like maybe, I wouldn't even do half of a nip. And there's your notch. Yeah? Do the same thing on the other side. Line it up with the edge of the window. And do the same thing. Just a little nip. You don't need much. And we're done. There's ours. The hand-made one. Right here. Yeah. Here is the die-cut one. So we can do this where you get the light's not reflecting off the acetate. I mean, they're pretty close to the same. I mean, almost identical, right? Only difference is I've got a picture in this one. And these little black dots here. These are actually not brads. They are enamel accents by Ranger. It's this stuff right here. Okay? It comes out as a liquid. Let it dry and let it cure overnight. And it's as hard as enamel. Okay? Which is great when you don't want the bulk of brads. But you want the look. So I'll use enamel dots. And to do that, really simple. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and close. I'm going to clip this closed because I don't want to. Maybe I can use this somewhere else, right? So instead of gluing it closed, I'm just going to put a paper clip here just so I can show you the enamel dot thing. So if you're old enough to remember puffy paint, it comes out kind of like that. But you do have to let it sit overnight, right? Let me squeeze an air bubble out of here. Make sure there's no air bubbles in it. Okay. Then you just go to the corners here and leave a little drop. Pull it up. Like I said, if you're old enough to remember puffy paint, I'm aging myself here. But almost exactly the same. Kind of consistency in the way it comes out. Oh, do another one down here. And then one right here. See if I can get them even or not. There you go. Done. What do you guys think? I mean, they're pretty darn close, right? Let's see here. Like I said, here's this one. Carefully hold this one without smudging the stuff. Here's mine, or here's the die cut, just a Tim Holtz. Here's mine. Pretty darn close if you ask me. Yeah? So there's how you do it. Okay. Die cutting. I'm going to put this to the side to dry. Get it out of the way here. Way over there. Die cutting it, just like with the accordion pocket die. All you need is some washi tape and your die cut machine. Okay. Excuse me. Let me flip it this way. And we need a little piece of scrap paper, so let's grab some scrap paper. I'm going to use the other side of this, actually, that we just used. You can grab some washi tape here. I mean, washi tape isn't really like required. I just do it because I like to keep. Sometimes when I have patterns on the paper and I want part of that certain part of the pattern on the die, this keeps it from moving around. If you're just doing solid paper, it doesn't really matter. Solid color paper doesn't really matter as much. All right, top plate, push in, and it grabbed pretty easily. And all you do is run it through. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. If you've never done die cutting before, this is all you got to do. It's really simple stuff. Don't let it intimidate you. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice with some of the dies are thicker than others, but you know, just work at it. You get the hang of it. Remove the washi tape right from the die. Put that over there. Put that in the bin. Pop this out, and you're going to get this little extra here. I keep mine for cluster backs or cluster backgrounds or bases. Put it over there. And you'll notice his actually punches holes in his die for brads if you want, okay? He also has a little bit of embossing here for like a label and whatnot, which we could do as well. But there's his right there. And then you just attach it. Either you can put the enamel dots in here and just glue the sides down, put brads in there, right? Whatever you want to do. But basically the same thing as the one that we just handed, I think. What do you guys think? Again, like I said, I wanted to make sure you guys have options so you don't feel you have to purchase a die. You don't have to. I just showed you how to do it with that one. And again, when you're learning how to make things from scratch versus using a die cut, you have the option to adapt it, change the shape, change the size, make it smaller, make it bigger, whatever, right? With the die, you are under the constraints of the size of the die. So like those jumbo dies, or those jumbo pockets specimen size I've shown you guys, that's just doing it by hand, right? And just increasing the measurements, right? Okay, so we've done that, and the next thing we're going to do is I've chosen the paper for those, so I will cut those off camera. The accordion pages, I believe I'm going to do using Tim Holtz wallflower, the 6x6s, because I have some just scraps laying around. And then the actual dies are the specimen slides. I'm going to use, I believe, his craft stock, because I want to bring a little bit of color in. There's so much of the vintage colors. So I found these that I had in my stash. I think I'm going to do the slides in these colors here. Okay. Alright, so that's what we're going to do next. How are we doing on time? We are at 1 hour. So let's do this. I need 6, right? So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I haven't decided, do I want to stitch around this? I don't think I will. I thought about it. Just do like a straight stitch, but everywhere else I use a zigzag stitch. So that's an option, but I think I'm going to leave it alone, I think. One, because this edge right here, this space here is really narrow for the stitch that I have, right? And it would be, I mean, I don't think it would actually fit through there, but it would be too big and get into the acetate itself. These 3 sides are fine, but that right there is a little too narrow, I believe, to take a zigzag stitch. Unless I change the zigzag stitch to a smaller one, which I could also do. I don't know. Or I could just do the stitching here and here. I could. Maybe I'll test one later, see what it looks like later on, and then decide. But let's go ahead and cut. I'm going to use my die cut for sake of time. Right? I'm going to cut these 6x6s apart. So I need 6 accordion pockets. So I'm going to use this one here, I should be able to get 2 out of that, 2 out of this one, and 2 out of that. Or should I do this side? Probably that side. Okay, we'll use these 3. That should give us our 6. So back to the machine. Back to the machine. Okay, let's get this out. Let's put down our paper. I am going to skip using the washi tape. I think. It should be fine. Since I don't have multiple dies on here to raise it too much. And it lays pretty flat. So let's just do this. Push it through. There we go. Sorry if I shake the camera while I'm turning here. And there's one. And we'll do another one down here at the bottom. Okay. Again, start to finish, right, you guys? All the parts, everything I do. No editing, right? All right, let's put this to the side. I'm gonna save that because that's Tim Holtz. We never throw away Tim Holtz scraps. Never, ever, ever. Especially this limited release stuff, man. Oof. I was finally able to get, if I hadn't told you already, I probably have. I was finally able to curate one 12 by 12 pad of each one of the limited releases. And a few 8 by 8s. Took some doing, and I paid a little bit extra, I saved some, and I did some bidding on another one at eBay and won it. But finally, it's taken me a few months, and I finally got one pad of each, so I'm going to be very stingy with my Tim Holtz limited release stuff. 12 by 12 packs, anyway. Okay. Now this is these are the, these are 6 by 6s that are on this pad of Wallflower, which I love Wallflower. It's one of I love them all. I think my 2 favorites are, my favorite I think is Abandoned. I love that one. I think Abandoned is my favorite, but I've used Wallflower the most so far, especially because of this project, of course. Come on, there we go. Okay. One more pocket here. Okay. Let's peel that off. And there are our 6 pockets. And I'm going to grab the specimen slide die now. And I'm going to use the craft stock from Tim Holtz, which I don't know what to do with it. Here it is. Okay, so I need 6 of these. We're just going to do 6. So I'm going to skip the brown, this brown, get rid of that one. Let's use these 3, and we'll do 2 of each color. Yeah? That'll bring a little bit of color to the layout. I think would be nice. Yeah? Alright, since it's a solid color, definitely don't need to use washi tape on this. 6 over here. Yeah, okay. Alright, one there. I'm going to try to push up the front. And this is no different than in doing the pockets. Yep. Ooh, heard the crack. That's my plate cracking anymore. I've got to get new plates, y'all. It's about to crack in half. Okay, there's one slide. Throw that over there. Let's do another one. Same color. Let's get a little grab here. Come on. Nope, throw it upside down. Maybe. There you go. Come on. There you go. And, oi. Okay. Second one. Done. All right, let's switch up paper. This green here. Rinse and repeat. Oh, God, keeps cracking more and more and more. Okay. Here we go. And there's another one. All right, just a few more to go here. Come on now, get in there. There we go. Oh, stop cracking. Please stop cracking. I only need 2 more. And then I'll let you rest. Oh, and I just dropped it. Way over there underneath my desk. Okay. Alright, and then 2 more out of this reddish brown, purpley color here. Alright, let's line this up at the end there. Again, since it's solid color, doesn't really matter where we stick it. Put the one I dropped. Ugh. Here we go. And let's see if this will grab. There we go. Oh, God. The cracking. Ugh. There we go. Now, I would suggest when you're doing die cutting to hold it as it's coming out the other side. I did have one instance where it shot out and hit my monitor of my laptop. Luckily, I don't know how because it hit it with such force, it didn't destroy my monitor or my display, or my screen rather, of my laptop. It didn't even crack it, but I mean, it shot out like a bullet. I mean, man. So now I always kind of hold it or grab it so it doesn't go shooting out the other side. Come on. There we go. Okay. That is the last one. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right. Let's let my die cut machine rest. I think she's had enough for today. All right, we'll save our 10-hole scraps. Yes. Of course. Put our dies away. Over there. Okay, that's what we've got here. Save these little square scraps for clusters. And we should have 6 slides here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 6 pockets. Yeah? 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so for these, all I need to do is punch my holes, right? So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to fold these so I can see where the edge is. And then do the punch the hole. So I can line it up, right? That's about right. One. Right about there. 2. Okay, 3 more. And again, I'm just folding these up so I can see where the edge of the square is itself. So when I'm lining up my hole punch here, easier for me to see where the center would be. Okay. Alright. A couple more. That's about right. And this is the last one. Okay. Again, I save my circles for dangles, FYI. I'm gonna show you one of those. Show you how to make those one of these days. All right, so we got our slides, we've got our pockets. How are we doing on time? Oof, getting long. Okay, so we're gonna stop as far as making here. What I want to do now is another poll with you guys. So we've got the poll on how we're gonna do the closures for the file folders, right? Now I want us to decide what type of windows we're gonna use for these. Now, we can use the clear acetate. We all know what that looks like. Or, I've got these guys. These. Now these are, you can see, are little film strips from 7 Plaza that I've cut out some different sizes here to use, right? And this is kind of what they would look like here. Let me get a piece of white paper here. Yeah, here we go. So you see versus the clear acetate, it gives a little bit of more of a distressed look here. We could put it this way. However, so that's one option. We can use these film strips. Or we could use my alcohol ink, or I say that I inked with alcohol ink and caramel like this. And that gives it even more of a distressed look, like so. See what I'm saying? So it looks like all kind of, once we ink up the pocket and everything, it'll look really, old and smudgy. Right? So we have this option, right? Or the clear acetate. Or using these film strips in various different sizes, right? So it'd be like this. This is a little bit less of the yellowing here. But it'd be like that on the windows or on the pockets. And then like this on the slides, right? Hope you guys can see that. Can you guys see that? Yeah. So we just need to decide which one we want to use. So help me decide. We're going to use clear acetate, the film strips, or the alcohol inked vintage acetate. What do you guys think? Yeah? All right. That's the 2 polls. You guys have to help me decide. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We're going to stop here for tonight. Thank you guys so much. I know this was a long one, but thank you for joining me tonight for the Saturday series, Make the Lapbook with Me 2.0, episode 18. If you are new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you'll get notified anytime I upload new content. In the description below, you're going to find a link to our Etsy store, as well as our Kofi site, which I know I keep meaning to upload that sewing pattern for you guys for free, but there is some stuff there over there for free if you're new. Feel free to download that for yourself. And we are coming up. We're close. We're close to the 500 milestone. So there's some more free ephemera coming y'all's way. Also in the description is a list of my commonly used tools that I use with an Amazon link. I don't make commission off these. These are just the links that I provide you guys just so you guys can have them. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please hit the like button if you liked it. And you guys know how I love comments. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Also, do your voting on the file folder closures and the type of acetate we're going to put in the windows. Okay? I will see you guys tomorrow for our Sunday series. Will be the first one. We're doing the Grungy Folio Recreate. The one that I released on 8/29. You guys wanted to see how I did it, so we're going to recreate it. Same elements, same techniques, but just, different papers. Okay? So tomorrow's our first episode of that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in the Sunday series. I love you guys so much. Thanks for joining. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Bye.